Before that, we'll just quick recap of yesterday's session. So yesterday I have gone through what was generative AI, an introduction of some basics of artificial intelligence, fully theoretical session. There I have mentioned several types of neural networks in machine learning, so which includes GAN, which is generative adversarial network, which is we are going to see today with a simple project, like kind of presentation. In the same presentation only, not I'm not going to run the code because of the time constraint. It will take some time. And then after gone, I have mentioned several other neural networks like CNN and RNN, and a brief history about how artificial intelligence took over and when gone, like generative adversarial neural network took over, and it was by Goodfellow in 2014. After that, so it has a huge boom through ChatGPT or Gemini or Bot. And right now we have GPT. So since the session is primarily for GPT, so I'll just walk through with the code which imports OpenAI library and how to get a response from ChatGPT through simple steps. And I'll tell you what are the environments we have used. Post that, I'll show you where we can get the data sets for your application, whatever you want to train your machine learning model, not application, and query sessions. Let's start. So, is my screen visible? Can somebody confirm?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
All right, thank you for the acknowledgement. So it's just a simple response. So the project will tell you how to get the simple response from GPT-3. Since GPT-4 is, we need to pay for the GPT-4 API. So I have included GPT-3 and how to do that. Let's get started. So in this application, we will create in this project, we'll create an application that generates a short story based on given prompt using OpenAI's GPT model. Okay, I'm going to use OpenAI's GPT model because it is more reliable when compared to other things. That's why I have incorporated that. And I'll give a prompt to that model, and it will give me back some response. So I have given prompt for short story model, and you can generate it for several other things also. For example, if you want to be like if you want to generate a timetable schedule for your class, for the school, for the university, you can give a prompt like that. Or if you want to make any or if you want to get a plan of how to collaborate your project, how to start your project and do things, you can give a prompt, anything like that, and you can directly use OpenAI's prompt in the application. So to understand, the objective is to understand the basics of working with generative AI, setting up the necessary environment, and generating complex text outputs. So libraries and environment setup. Required libraries, since I am using OpenAI, I have used OpenAI library directly. If you want to try out something else, you can go for their own libraries. For example, for GPT, it is provided by OpenAI. For Twilio, for example, let's consider Twilio. Twilio is a messaging API. If you want to send a text to someone using for your, let's consider a scenario, we need to send out some text to some other person. It should be automatic. At the same time, it should be very it should make some sense. So if I say good morning to someone, they should. I expect them to reply good morning back again. For that, what we can do is we can integrate OpenAI and Twilio, TWILIO. It will send out the message. For email, we have SMTP protocol. It is easier. For Twilio, we have to pay something. So if you want to collaborate through text, or you want to promote your business through messages, WhatsApp messages, you can get responses from OpenAI directly and you can feed it to the persons. So I'm telling you how to get the responses. You can use it everywhere, wherever you want. Okay. For that, we need a library called OpenAI. Then another library is request, and another library is .env. So .env is mainly for environment variables. So I'm going to integrate an API inside my application, which means I need to provide a secret key for that application. So to provide a secret key, I should not incorporate it into my code base. Consider I'm having a code base of application, and I'm like by mistake I have pushed it into the Git as a public public repo. In that case, my secret key cannot be changed or fetched back again. It is already posted on the online. So what we can do is we can set it up in our local environment using .env file. In that file, we can have all the confidential information, like your username, password, and everything. If you want DB connection, you can use that. So in other languages like Java, Ruby, I'm not sure about Ruby, but for Java or JavaScript, we have to use the properties files. From the property file only, we will be using uh, that password or whatever the sensitive information it is. So in Python, what we can do is we can have a like library called .env. Through .env, it will get all your environment variables, and from that environment variables, you can give. For example, let's consider I have a .env file, and my password I have stored it as OpenAI underscore password, and the password is given in that env file. So now what I need to do is the .env file will be incorporated and it is in my local. It's not connected with my code base. So my password will be fetched. If I give OpenAI password from env file, it will be fetched automatically instead of hot coding my password in the code base itself. So for that purposes, .env will be useful. For one, I am right now incorporating one library. If I incorporate many libraries like SMTP or Twilio or TensorFlow, many libraries to do a complex project, the .env will be very useful. And the next thing is environment setup. So environment setup, as I said, we should definitely have Python. It should be I would prefer the latest version like 3.7 after that or after that. Necessary packages, set up own OpenAI API key. So to set up OpenAI API key, you should go to their official website and you need to provide for what need you are going to get the API and use it in your code. It could be like development purpose or it could be for business. Since you are learning, you can give for development purpose and they will set you up a profile and you will get your own API key with the secret code. So the API key will be used in the code and the secret key is used to hit the API and install libraries using pip. I mostly prefer pip install. So the pip is nothing but to install all the Python libraries. So for these application, I'm using OpenAI request and .env. So I can give the command like pip install OpenAI request python.env. These all should be done using your terminal only, not a complex process. And the project we're working through, the key parts of the code will be importing libraries. The first major step is import my libraries, then setting up my API key so that the code will know that I am connecting this API for this purpose and defining the prompt. So like right now I have given story prompt. If I say something, if I start something, the prompt will give the full replay. If I start with a forest as a line as a prompt, the ChatGPT will complete the story and give it to me. For a simple example, you can use it for various purposes to interact with your customers for a business application. So to have an active customer. So these days, many WhatsApp chat businesses they have given AI for us to respond. For that kind of thing, they have used this only. So our customers' response will be fed to the OpenAI. Then it will give some response. Then that will be posted again to the customers. So that's how they have set up their environment and making a request to GPT-3 model. Yeah, defining the story prompt. I am defining something. Then make a request to GPT-3 model and handling and display the response. So the code, if I say it in a way You may think it will be very complex code or it will have like 100 number of lines or something. No, it's just less than 10 number of lines to get this done. Okay. Part one is, as I said, first import OpenAI, then import OS. Then OS is for the, we use grep or some other system variables. We use OS, import OS. So, then from .env, import load.env. So this load.env class will load all your property files from your, not attached to your code base. Then load environment variables from a .env file using by calling the function inside the load.env. You have a function called load.env. It will call the necessary variables, and after that set the open API key. So to set the open API key, it is nothing but open AI, the imported file dot API key equal to os dot get env open API key. Here you have to put your key here. So the process is simple. Just we are calling the OpenAI dot API key. So inside this class, we have a variable called API key. So that API key value will be assigned with our API key, which has fetched from our local environment. And then the second part of the code snippet. So define the prompt for a story. So I have given the prompt. Once upon a time in a small village, I have given some story which I got from the internet. So the prompt will be like this, like that. So you can give whatever prompt you want, and you can get, even you don't have to get a prompt like this also. You can give GPT an equation. So if you want to design an application to solve basic mathematical equation or to solve a paper, you have to feed a paper, and the paper will be corrected automatically. So for example, instead of this prompt, I am feeding a mathematical equation: solve 5x plus 3y equal to 32, and 3x plus 7y equal to 45. So let's solve the equation, find the values of x and y. If you give a prompt like this, you will get the reply. So to use to get a mathematical function, whatever the field it is, to attract customers. So the customer is saying something like, let's say a customer is saying, I'm not satisfied with your with your product. So the product has this defect. To replay that quickly, GPT model can be trained, and you can get the replay from the GPT model and feed it back to your application. So whatever I am showing is like 10 percentage of your code. It can be incorporated in any business logic that you want to incorporate. It doesn't have to be a story. It can be a mathematical function. It can be a product response. It can be a data which, like, it can be a general information. If I want to know what is how does a air AC works, how does an air conditioner works, what are all the mechanism, I can send a prompt like this. It could be science for any field. You can give any prompt. So the only difference is GPT-3 is not that reliable. It can tell you all the facts correctly, but it has some constraint. You can't feed like complex mathematical function, complex statistical function, or complex code to GPT-3. You have to go for GPT-4 to get all these details. So after that, once my prompt variable is defined, next make a request to GPT model to generate a story. So my response will be like open.completion.create. Okay, I'm asking it to create. My response should be like this. So I am just sending it. Engine equal to text DaVinci 003. So I'm using text DaVinci 003. You can go through their API documentation to use what the engine you want. Then maximum prompt equal to prompt my message, and maximum token equals to 200. So it should be less than 200. My token value should be less than 200. Then temperature equal to zero point 0.7. Top of P equal to 1.0. This temperature, even I am not exactly sure why they have used it. I didn't get a chance to go through that. But you can get it as homework, and you can do it. It is in their open AI documentation. And n equal to 1, which means I have only one array that will be sent. Then stop equal to the end. So where the story will be end. So the story should be ended by the end, like that I have given. So the stop equal to x comma y, like that I can give. So if the stop is x comma y, it will solve the equation and give me value x and y. And code statement 3, the story equal to response dot choice of 0 dot, yeah, that's it. So I have made a request and I have told it how my response should look like. Then after that, I'll get the response back in the another line. Response dot choice of 0 dot text dot strip. So which means I'm getting the first array, which is my response. Then it should be a text. After that, strip means it will avoid all the extra information, like all the extra spaces or something after the text is, before and after the text is. Print generated story, and I am printing the story. That's it. So to incorporate OpenAI into your application, so these are all the things you have to do. Just go to the OpenAI application and generate a key for API, and it will have a secret key. So input that API into your code. You can refine the prompt like whatever you want to do. You can go through the documentation once how they have used it. Even I'm learning it, so they have different kind of things, and they are updating it every day based upon their development. And the code response will be simple, so you don't have to do like it's not a rocket science when it comes to. So but I would prefer you to go through OpenAI's full documentation so that you will get clearly know what are all the functions they have and how can you do that. So my idea would be like, so those who are developing some application, not application, developing some machine learning model, to yesterday's somebody has mentioned Alzheimer's disease. So my idea will be like, so Alzheimer's can be, so OpenAI is one kind of neural network. Right? It's a gone. That Alzheimer can be also guessed by another neural network also. So if we confirm if both the neural network has same replay, then we can assure that our reply is correct. For example, as I said, I'm not very sure about Alzheimer's disease, what are all the data they take. But let's take diabetes. So as I said yesterday, I have told one example. 50 lakh people, in that 50 lakh people, consider 30 lakh people have diabetes, 20 lakh people doesn't have diabetes. So I have provided trained my OpenAI model as well as another neural network model. It could be like CNN, or it could be RNN, or it could be a normal machine learning model for logistic or linear regression, whatever it is. So I'm incorporating two neural network models in my application. First, I will feed it to OpenAI. Next, it doesn't have to be OpenAI. It can be any neural network model. Then I am feeding it to my neural network model, like neural network model 2. Let's consider neural network model 1 and neural network model 2. Feeding the same data to the two neural networks. One functions like with the functionality of generator and discriminator. Another functions like with the functionality of regression techniques. So both will come up with a response. So what I can do is I can assure that my neural network is correct or not. From this I can create a new neural network itself. So that's how the neural network evolves. First in machine learning they had only linear regression and it came with logistic regression. Now it has in deep learning we have a convolutional neural network and other neural network like RNN is there, SNN is there, everything is there. So what I can do is I will have my own neural network by combining two neural networks response and feeding it to my new neural network and making it to analyze whether both this, if let's say one neural network 1 gives true and neural network 2 gives false, or neural network 1 gives some statement like it is okay, the person has the 70% probability to get diabetes, the another neural network gives reply like the person has 90% chances to get diabetes. So I'm feeding it to my own neural network, which could be RNN, and ask it to check whether what could be the possible outcome. Like that I can improve the efficiency of my mission. So it will learn it very quickly and the outcome will be very reliable. So they are developing machine learning model for stocks, for example. So what the stock markets nifty will be today, sell revert point. So I don't think it is a correct practice to guess it, but we can use it for medical application to ensure medical application working good. These kind of practices we can do. So I have incorporated just one neural network. We can go through how to incorporate like or an CNN into your application. So some neural networks are specifically for images. That comes to deep learning. Deep learning models are mainly for images. They'll get an image and they'll analyze. For example, in a traffic signal, image is fed. A traffic signal image is fed. The neural network can imagine how much probability to accident to be occurred in that particular area, or it could analyze how much traffic can be cleared if the traffic signal has changed into this way. What is the efficiency of this traffic signal? So all these functions we can do using by importing the neural networks. And other, yeah, I have printed this here. So to running the project, ensure all the libraries are installed. Run the code using command python gpt3 underscore story underscore generation dot py, because story generation is my prompt name. So I should give gpt3 underscore story and underscore generation dot py. I mean, it's my file name actually. So that's how we can run and observe the output generated by the gpt3. That's it. So yeah, one example output will be like this. Once upon a time, I mean, sorry, yeah, it returned so many responses because GPT-3 is not that reliable, but it returned something like this only. One day she decided to use powers to help her village. Like that, it created a story and responded back. So that's it for this presentation. Any questions from this presentation? After that, I could go to data sets and how to get the data sets. I can show. Anyone has any question? All right. So I'll go. I'll tell you how to get data sets. So hope my screen is visible. So I have gone through a website called india.government.in slash datasets. This is a very famous website. It has launched recently. Before that, some other websites were there for datasets. What you can do is go to this site and you can get whatever data you want. Like for global youth tobacco survey, because India has promised something like we will eradicate TB at this by 2047. By 2047 we'll eliminate sickle cell anemia. So these and all they have promised. So what we can do is here, if you can see, can get the data type as API. So which means the data is itself in another API. What you can do is you can get the API link, hit it from your postman, and check what kind of replay. The API response could be JSON. The API response could be raw data like a JSON, CSV, text file. So according to that, use Pandas library and refine your data, limit your data, feed it to your proper neural network, and use it in your application. The data type will be API here, and here it is directly CSV, so not a problem. And it is for national financial and economic data, and Indian census data here as CSV type. So the census data is very important. So last census was taken in 2011. So from that census data only, we are like constituencies are declared. So UP has, like in Tamil Nadu we have 39 seats plus Pondicherry has one seat. So these are like concluded using the census data. If you want to process something like if you feel like there is something different in the constituencies, we need to expand or we need to reduce the constituency, you can get the model and propose a summit to government, and you can do project like this. And wildlife herbarium data is for people who work for environmental concern or something. So it has many data sets, and what we can do is you can log into this site. If you want new data set, you can request the government directly, and they'll ask you for. It is a bit tedious process. It will take some time, but at the same time, you will get your data for the process you want. But mostly, the data will be available here. All the data will be available here. You can use it to train your model. And other than that, what I had mentioned is Kaggle. So inside Kaggle, it is very readable. Okay, you have to sign in anyway. I just logged out from everything. So inside Kaggle, you will have so many data sets, more than like lakhs of data sets for lakhs of field. They have provided data sets for every field. You will have data sets in Kaggle. You can get it and you can bring whatever the field you want, like sports, health. They have mentioned here, software, food industry, travel industry, so whatever data you want, and it is also classified. It is a very neat website. Before, when I started learning, it was a very clumsy website. Now it is very neat. uh, you can provide, you want to, based on your, you can provide by data set, as well as you can provide by technology. Here they are mentioned as natural language processing. So natural language processing means to get ready, to get an application like Google Translate, or conversion of voice to text. For that, it will get natural language processing, and after that, use a repository. Yeah, use a repository. These are all very old data sets. Iris, Driving. So these are all used to learn. Like when you start learning, you can use this data set to simply how a machine learning model works. For that, we can use. Using is also good, but specific. But you have to figure out which data sets you want to take, and you have to uh, use what kind of model you are going to train. So these things you have to decide, and what are all the neural networks you are going to use. That are all you have to decide. According to that, you can get data set. These are the three major sites that I use to get my data sets. So, in case if you want any help, yesterday I have pinged my email ID. I'll get you data set in case if you want. If I have the access, I'll get you data set. Any questions from this, or from machine learning model? I'll just stay for 2 more minutes in the call. In case we don't have any query, we can wind up this session.
No question, ma'am. Just want to your mail ID.
Okay, I have sent. I'll send it again. Right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. In this case, we don't have any queries. I guess I have in my email ID. If you want my contact or something, you can contact the pencil bliss. Thank you for being the patient listeners. Thank you, Kartika, pencil bliss, for the opportunity. Somebody has just asked how to download the data from the website. You don't have to do anything. Some websites they require you to log in. So just log in, and there will be an option called download. You can download it directly. In case if it is API, you need to hit the API. So what you can do is install Postman in your local. So the Postman or Insomnia, anything will work fine. Or Insomnia. Hit the API, you will get the response. So, according to the response, you can write your code. If the response is text or JSON or CSV, you can't get CSV response through API, but you can get the text, download it, and convert it into CSV using Pandas library and use that in your dataset. It is a fair way. All right, any more questions? If that's the case, yeah. Thank you, Gardiga, for the opportunity. We are done with the session for today.
Hello, hello. All. Do we have any other questions? Okay, okay. We'll send you the feedback link today to your mail, and we'll send you the certificates tomorrow. Thank you all for joining.